And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, April the 13th, he says, as he makes his mic make noise. Sorry. 2019, Season 13, Episode 14. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Sarah.
That's right. Matt is not here. Sarah has joined us. Matt, I think, will be back next week, which would be great because we got some Star Wars stuff to talk about that I would like his input on, but it's likely he has not seen that video. What is it called? Just announced today.
Rise of Skywalker?
No.
That one?
The game. Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Respawn game. They just showed a trailer, I don't know, probably a couple hours ago.
Oh, okay.
And it was not a gameplay trailer at all. Just whatever. It doesn't even feel like a story trailer. I don't know what it is. But I'm curious as to what he thinks about it. So,
I was in the car, so I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, well, you got a fresh new looking iPad over there.
I do.
Start putting it to use. And you have a spec cover. Is that a spec?
It is.
Yeah, I can tell by the logo. I like spec.
I do too.
This is not a spec, but my old iPhone had a spec. I like those. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Let me do this, and then we'll get on to the formalities of everything. Very quickly. Done. That's how quick. If you'd like to get in touch with the show or with us, just call us, 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter. You can find it at In-Game Chat. You can find us on Facebook, In-Game Chat. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We're streaming right now on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv. And you can find us there. Type in In-Game Chat. You'll be able to find us. Go to our website. There's a link for it there as well. You can join in the chat room live while we broadcast. So, this aside. And there's some nastiness on this thing. This counter. I cleaned up over here, but I didn't clean up over here. So, excuse me. While we do some maintenance.
During the show.
Well, it's going to bother me until I don't.
Yeah, it's part of our charm. That's what it is, though.
It is. It really is. It really is.
Now that I think about it, when's the last time we've had a perfect run-through of this show?
Well, if it was perfect, I'd be a little bit more nervous that I'd forgotten something.
Because you think you'd forgotten something.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll put it this way. When's the last time you felt that way?
When's the last time I felt like we had a perfect run through a show?
No, nervous because you thought you forgot something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought last week's show was rather good.
Yeah.
I felt like everything kind of worked out on last week's show. I don't remember anything bad happening. Well, formatics, we went a whole hour without taking a break. That's not good. It was a great conversation, but
the ads part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we get it.
Pay the bills, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we didn't dump anybody's ads. They just played later than usual.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to let you know. All right, we're all clean. Sorry. Anyway, welcome to the show. Sarah, thanks for making the drive to watch
You're
me
welcome.
clean the desk in the studio.
We appreciate it.
Wonderful.
We really do.
So, yeah, welcome everybody to the show. Let's go over what we've played. I'm going to go with Sarah. She's our guest first. What have you been playing? Anything?
So Destiny, unsurprising, but I actually just restarted a playthrough of Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, what brought that on?
Mostly reading all the articles about BioWare and why Anthem was a dumpster fire.
Right.
So I decided to go back to the
Anthem.
BioWare I loved.
You played Anthem.
I did play Anthem, and I didn't have the problems that a lot of people did with it, but I got bored pretty quickly because there just wasn't that much to do. And the first mission was behind a really annoying bottleneck. So by the time I got through that, I sort of felt like I'd done everything. It was a lot like playing a Destiny patrol over and over and over and over. And there's only one environment because you're in a fairly small area outside of Fort Tarsus. So you really start to feel like you've seen this jungle before because you have.
Yeah.
So, but the Kotaku article about Anthem was really fascinating.
Long article, but fantastic. Fantastic and well done.
So I decided to go back to some Golden Age BioWare.
Yeah. That's it's not a bad idea, if you really want to enjoy that experience with everything that they've done. With the exception, I think there was an article recently about Dragon Age 4.
Yes, there was an article about sort of what do we know, which
is not much.
And given that they didn't even know what Anthem was until about 6 months before it shipped, I'm not sure how much I believe.
Yeah, it makes you nervous about what that's going to be whenever they do get there, if they're having such a hard time with everything else. Because they did not do well trying to, let's do Mass Effect again. Andromeda did not do well.
I do not, again, have the problems a lot of people did with Andromeda. I got bored because that game needed to be a lot shorter. But I felt that way about Inquisition, which was a critical baby. So, yes, lethal migraine, we know. But yeah, I didn't have any of the glitching in Andromeda. I just felt like I'd been on the ice planet for about 17 years.
You could throw away the glitches and still look at whatever, everything that they gave you. And, yeah, I mean, if you felt like you were bored, then they weren't giving you enough or shaking things up enough.
Inquisition and Andromeda were incredibly long games, whereas my sweet spot for a BioWare game is about 35 hours. So, and I think my Inquisition playthrough totaled out at about 90.
Wow.
And I got about 25 into Andromeda before I got tired.
Now, you said something about Anthem. Did you, at any point in there, did you feel starting to get tedious?
Yes.
More than anything else?
Well,
I can understand bored, but tedious.
Well, that first mission or whatever it was, as you said, the bottleneck thing was just...
Yeah, you had to find all these tombs for no discernible reason. And in the article, it actually talked about, they absolutely bottlenecked that so that you couldn't progress faster because they wanted you to do all this exploring. It's like, guys, I'm going to do the exploring anyway.
This is a problem that Destiny has as well, that the guys at Bungie have. And it's brought up a lot of conversation with the fact that they seem to want to weight you down with your leveling, as though you're going to rush through the content, which you're not. I mean, they've already... Look, the Gambit thing right now is completely time-gated where the only way you can get a full set of +3 armor is week by week. You can get your +3 Gambit armor, which is the max +3. You can get that entire thing, ornament, cloak, whatever it's called, depending on your character, boots, chest, arms, boom. But the helmet is gated on a week-to-week basis. So you have to get a bounty that is going to give you an upgraded helmet piece, and that bounty is once per week. So when you get it, you're upgraded to a +1. And then the next week you do it again, you get upgraded to a +2. And then the next week you do it again, you finally get your +3. So they're still gating you on that to get to the maximum that you need, even though you can still hit level cap pretty quick. But it's the infusion schematics. They're the infusion... The infusion stuff. The
extra stuff you need?
Masterwork cores or whatever.
Yeah.
Enhancement cores is what they're called. Originally, I guess they were called Masterwork cores. But enhancement cores, a very finite resource that is slow to be given to you, and you need 2 to 3 of them in order to bring a weapon that you like up to the level cap that you can bring it up to.
Yeah.
And while you're doing this, so if you're going from 600 to 650 or 600 to 700, you find a gun that is 605, and it's the best gun that you got. But by the time you're up at 675 or something, your gun's still holding you back because it was your favorite. And you want to infuse, but at the same time, you know that the closer you get, the higher the level of drops are going to be, and you'll be infusing it over and over and over again, not to mention your armor and everything else. So these enhancement cores that they give you are just really, they're very stingy with them.
They are.
And we'll get into why, because they did a thing this week that had to do with that, and it really upset the player base. But go ahead and finish what you were saying on the games you played.
Yeah, I think that was about it. So I did think it was funny playing Mass Effect and thinking back on the should games have an easy mode conversation from the last time I was here.
Yeah.
Because I do tend to play BioWare games on narrative mode or easy mode or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Because I'm in it for the story. I'm not going to make every single shot a headshot. I'm just not that good. It's why I'm terrible in Destiny Crucible. I accept that about myself. So for those games especially, it makes a lot of sense for me because I'm playing it on normal right now. I died like 6 times because I'm doing a mission too early because I just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
That kind of breaks the fiction that I'm this amazing galactic savior because I can't get through a warehouse. So the easy mode works a lot better for keeping me in that mindset of, I am the hero of, like, I literally saved the universe in the last game. These low level thugs should not be taking me down.
Just to throw in another Destiny comparison complaint, I guess, is the hub where you go to like turn in bounties and things like that. The tower basically is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
The tower currently has 2 spawn-in locations. One is the normal spawn-in, right there at the courtyard type thing.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the vendors are.
Yes.
Then the
second
other one
spawn-in is nice.
The second spawn-in is way on the other side where there's some more vendors. Then there's a third spawn-in that you really don't ever... Now, actually, there is no third spawn-in. There's another area of the tower that doesn't get much use, but when it does, we all complain that there's not a spawn-in. And oddly enough, that area is called the hangar. That area is where your ship goes when you in lore mode. That's where your ship goes to dock, so you can enter the tower. But there is no spawn location there. Yeah, just it's a thing. I know it's a small, insignificant thing. It used to be a big deal because you had Kate over there to turn in some stuff. When they did faction rallies, they were over there for you to go do some
2
stuff.
of the factions were right there in the hangar, yeah. And the other one was on the far end of the bazaar.
Way over there,
Yeah.
which they put in a spawn-in location over there now, so it's fine. But you rarely go to the hangar anymore for any reason at all, except for, I think, Xur. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about the only reason, unless Amanda, the shipwright over there, has a quest for you.
Yeah.
And that's very rare that she does.
Or on a pinch, when push comes to shove, you got to buy a ship or whatever and get one from her. One of them
If you got to buy a
like that.
ship, yeah, I guess so. So, yeah, not to get back into that. What have you been playing, RJ?
Not too much this week. I've been occupied with other things, but for the most part, still playing Sekiro. It's been a lot of farming and backtracking.
Okay.
Because like I said last week, I've been
That
missing
doesn't
a
sound
lot of
fun
stuff.
at all.
Well, I got to farm anyway because I want to get some skills up to take on the rest of the bosses that I got to face in this game. There's a lot of bosses and encounters that I've missed, apparently. I can think of the last time I fought 2 bosses. One was pretty difficult. Snake Eye Shirafuji finally took him down. And what was weird about it, I didn't have to use the trick that I saw earlier about avoiding him when you first see him and going up the cliff and up to the gun fort and taking all the folks out there and then sneaking up from behind and taking them out that way. It was just straight up one-on-one battle right then and there. Probably because I got impatient over dying too much with that battle. But I finally took him down. The next boss I got to was the boss in the gun fort. leopard arms or something like that. Basically,
His name was Leopard Arms?
Leopard something, but he has basically long arms and he swings wildly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know how to parry fine, you can get through it pretty easily. But like I said last week, I'm garbage at parrying, so it took a minute, about 2 or 3 tries to get the timing down, to get the parrying down, because if you can parry all of his shots, he sets himself up for death blows relatively quickly. So that should be an easy boss battle in that game. Should be the easiest, I'm thinking, the way the game is now. A lot of areas I'm missing. I'm working my way on getting back to that area, but after I do some farming, because I can get a lot of spirit points in the gun fort if I go back and forth and earn those.
I understand I understand why you farm.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea of it in some ways. I do a lot of that I do a lot of it subconsciously. I farm on Destiny. I don't actually know that I'm doing it, but I'm doing exactly that. What am I actually farming? I don't know. Name any sort of resource, and I'm getting it. I'm getting Glimmer. I'm getting shards.
Glimmer
shards.
Yeah, Glimmer and shards is the only thing I think I'd farm for. But then again,
I don't actually farm for it. It's just
it just naturally comes as a byproduct of what you're doing normally.
Just by playing the game and doing these things over and over again. Because I've hit my limit on both my characters now. I've hit 700.
Yeah.
So I have nothing, and I mean, to lead into what I played this week, I didn't play Destiny at all. I didn't play anything. I logged on to Destiny Tuesday night reset day, and I looked at the map and I said, I don't want to do any of this. I didn't have to do any of it. I had already done everything. I was 700 on my armor and guns and stuff. I hit the level cap. I didn't have anything to go out there and do.
I'm so
nobody to
excited
help?
for Tuesday.
Oh no, there was nobody on.
I'm so excited for Tuesday.
For the seasonal event?
Yes.
Yeah, you just want a bunny ghost.
You're right, I do. I have a kitty ghost right now, and I want a bunny ghost so I can trade off seasonally.
I'm trying to remember the last time I played Destiny. It's been multiple months. But I was thinking about what you were talking about with guns and leveling it up.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the same boat. If I do get back on Destiny 2, I would probably be boosting up the Song of Justice, because I really do like that scout rifle that I've got.
Well, I don't know where you left off on it, but I believe if you do happen to get back in, go over to the Gambit guy. Go to him. He has got 4 or 5 missions that are available to you that you can pick up that will drop guaranteed 650 gear. So, like, if you're real low and have it hit up to the level cap from the previous season,
I'm nowhere near the level cap.
Yeah, well, if you go get this gear, it'll drop at 650, and immediately it's going to put your armor side of things up to not the level cap, but the level base for this expansion, which would have been 650.
Can you do it solo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I could even do it, because last time I checked, it was like 350 something, 360 something.
Yeah.
It's been, like I said, it's been a minute since I played.
I was going to say, I don't know, if you haven't played Forsaken yet, you're probably going to have to play that story mode before that stuff unlocks.
I haven't got Forsaken.
Yeah.
This is hence the reason I haven't played in months. Forsaken, until all of it comes out. It's like I did with Destiny 1. I didn't get Destiny, the original, until that Game of the Year type edition came out. And then when Forsaken came out, it was like an extra thing to purchase. I'm like, I just paid this much for Destiny 2. I'm going to hold off on it until I get the rest of it. So it's going to be a minute.
Yeah, when you do get it, you'll have to go through the main campaign anyway before you can get to any of that gear.
You can use whatever their new mode of light.
Yeah, you can get a mode of light.
Doodly bobber is.
Yeah, there's one per. So you'd have to pick whatever character. I mean, if you run alts, and I don't think you do. I think
I don't. I got one character type.
Yeah, you've got one main. He'll bring you up. They'll move him. That mode of light will bring him up to 600.
I think so.
I think it'll bring you up to 600.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can go from there. And you won't have to do anything. It'll just shoot you right up to 600.
Probably have to do a lot of downloading or whatever, because like I said, I hadn't played it, so I probably hadn't put it in the.
No, I logged in. I logged in on Tuesday. It was reset day, and I looked at stuff, and I said, I just don't feel like doing any of this. I have both characters at 700. I really have nothing to chase at the moment. I don't feel like doing any of this, and I stopped. Of course, that was Tuesday, so then I went and laid on the bed and watched TV, and I fell asleep by like 7:30. I think 7:15. I was out. I was asleep. I wasn't even trying to go to sleep. I just crashed. And then I woke up at about 8:15, something like that. And was mad as hell because if I go to bed that early, if I fall asleep that early, that screws up my night. So I hate when that happens. But so I didn't play on Tuesday. I didn't play Wednesday. Thursday is when everything hit the fan, and I had an issue with I played the game called Home Ownership. When something breaks, you have to fix it.
Oh, the plumbing.
All right. Well, it wasn't plumbing. It was actually my air conditioning unit.
Oh, one of the pipes.
Yeah. The condensation pipe was clogged, and so water was leaking out of it onto the ground. And so when I came home Thursday, this is not gamer related at all. When I came home Thursday, I had a massive, stanky mildew smell in the house.
Ugh.
Nasty. And I knew exactly what it was coming from, so I got to fix this. So I looked at it, and I didn't go to bed till midnight on Thursday. And I got to get up at 4.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
I got to get up at 4:30
in the morning. You go to
every
midnight.
morning. It was ridiculous, but I finally got it all done and fixed. Now I just got to work on getting the mildew smell out of the house. But I played Destiny just a tad last night. I did my Invitation of the Nine. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I need to grab that for this week.
Yeah, I did my Invitation of the Nine. And that, again, these will be the reasons that I jump in to play Destiny is to collect lore. So this Invitation of the Nine is lore. Although I just did my last one, so I'm not exactly sure. I think they'll give you more, but I won't be getting lore from it anymore. But they'll continue on whatever this thing is trying to tell me, whatever the story is trying to tell. But I did that, and I think there's some more lore that I can get from doing Blind Well on the 3rd week of the rotation, because that gives you lore as well, some story. So that's going to be it until, of course, the seasonal stuff happens next week.
Bunny Ghost.
Yeah, which is Easter stuff.
Yes.
And I'll do that. I'll put in the time for that one because so far I have accomplished all the triumphs that you're supposed to do with the seasonal event stuff. It rewards you no points. It gets you nothing. Maybe,
But you get to check things off in a little
right?
book.
It gets you nothing, but you get to check things off. That is it. It awards no points whatsoever. But I keep maxing those out. So I'll do it again with the Easter stuff. So I didn't play anything. I did not play just a tad bit of Destiny. That is it. I just did not play anything. It just wasn't there for me. Let's talk to Chris before we take this break. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Nothing. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I saw the thing, your issue about the air conditioning going on. I was about to wonder if you had any luck fixing that, but what you just explained, well, I'm glad about that. It's just,
Yeah, it's really nice that I didn't have to call in somebody to come fix it for God knows how much it would have cost for something like that.
Too much.
Well, the fact that, I would like to think that they would have seen the issue and said, oh, here's all we got to do and fix it. That'll be whatever the cost is for the trip in. I understand. I know you're shaking your head. I understand. But the fact that, there's a lot of things that happen at my house that I will do as much as I possibly can before I got to call somebody. And it's not because I don't trust, because we have plenty of fine sponsors, and I'm telling you that right now. We got some great people who advertise on this station and our other stations. And I know you're thinking I'm doing the suck-up period, but I know these people personally. They are fantastic people. And any one of them would have jumped at the chance to help on anything that I've ever really needed. And in some cases, when I have needed it, they have. And it's been great. But I will go as far as I can to fix something myself with as little expense as possible to make that happen. And I believe the only expense for this was a $10 auger. That was it. Everything else I had and everything else was good. So that's all. So anyway, Chris, what's going on with you?
Oh, since you've been getting into and talking about the VR stuff here over the last year or so, I saw some gameplay footage here lately of this one on the computer that you can get if you ever get one of the fancy headsets and everything. I think maybe the H Survive or whatever and all, but it's called Blade and Sorcery.
I think I've seen that.
But yeah, it looks fantastic, and I've seen other people's videos where they've really got everything down, flipping swords up and the rapiers up in the air, and then flipping it up, and then grabbing it when it's completely the opposite direction, and they're doing some real cool acrobatic stuff. But that game looks fantastic.
Yeah, I don't have. I've got a lot of VR stuff, but I don't have a lot of VR games. I was not too into like buying the free games. I would look for the free stuff for the VR. I would go after, but I would not. I was not really wanting to expand my library on VR at the time. First off, it's mainly because my room setup is not good for it. Sit down VR is one thing, but to have full room VR, moving around, that sort of thing, very cramped. It just doesn't work at the moment. I'm gonna try and fix that so that I can have a nice big room for VR. So,
yeah.
And then I can start looking into, ooh, that looks really fun to do a whole room experience VR. So,
but yeah, I've seen quite a few videos in there, and there's just amazing all the different things that you can do, and the sensories and stuff where you can grab people's arms and throw them off bridges, and some of the things in there are a little bit not real true to life, but like taking hatchets and axes and using the tips of them and climbing up on structures, by holding on, and things like that. If they code the game like that, it's cool. But yeah, I've seen a bunch of pretty funny videos and stuff of people doing this and that and climbing out of the world by using one-handed hatchet.
well, I'll look into it, man. Thanks for letting me know about it.
I think I remember seeing it. It's like $20 or something. But they even have the latest update. You can even decapitate and cut people's arms and limbs off too if you just get the right movement or at the right joint. If you do it perfectly, you can cut their arms and legs off. And I remember one guy had one of the long double-handed axes, and he picked up one of the guy's head and stuck it on the ground and practiced his golf game.
Okay.
I mean, if you could think about it, it's amazing what these people come up with and think of. It's pretty cool the way it's going nowadays and stuff. It really looks like it's coming along really good since the beginning of it when it was first starting.
Yeah, I'm looking at screenshots, and I mean, boy, VR still needs some work. But yeah. All right, Chris, well, we appreciate you calling in and talking to us this week. Stay safe tomorrow. It's going to be pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. Felt good this afternoon and this morning with the wind and all blowing. But, of course, we all know what's coming around the corner, but it felt good at the moment.
Yeah, they're dealing with that in, I think, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi right now. Or at least they were in Texas. It may be Mississippi and Louisiana now. So, but all right, man. Well, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon. Stay safe, y'all.
Take care now.
Bye.
Right, bye.
We're going to take our first break here, and there is no theme for this week. It's just music that I tried to find that people were playing or was new releases. So when we come back, we'll have more within Game Chat in just a minute. This is music from a game called Staxel. It's apparently I don't want to call it a Stardew Valley-like, but it is kind of a farm town simulator done in very Animal Crossing-like aesthetic and that sort of thing. So, yeah. This is called Town Festival. We'll be back with more in Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Way of the Passive Fist.
Okay.
That fits. Sounds like this, because the music sounds like an 80s action flick already.
Somebody had either bought it on, I think somebody bought it on Steam or was playing it. I don't know. Way of the Passive Fist.
There's nothing passive about this music.
Yeah. Not at all. Anyway, welcome back to the show. I'm trying to think if there was any real big stuff. I mean, the big stuff came today, I guess. Respawn revealed Jedi Fallen Order, which is the single-player Star Wars game coming from EA. It is releasing November the 15th is the release date on it. There was absolutely no gameplay shown during the trailer. It was just... I don't even want to call it a story trailer because I'm not exactly sure if it was telling any story.
So was it a teaser?
Maybe, I mean, we're going to find a whole lot more out. I say we're going to find a lot more out at E3, but EA has already said they're not doing an E3 thing. I don't know what they'll do, if they'll do something, but they're not doing anything. So I don't really know what we'll get out of that. If anything at all. You seem to be the way that the trailer seems to progress. You're a Jedi who survived Order 66, and you're sort of in hiding. So you're not. This seems to be the way that they're going to limit you using force powers, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you can't use all the time.
It's like don't expose yourself too much.
Right.
Field. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Again, there was no gameplay, so we have no idea what to expect from this. But they did say it is single player. There's no microtransactions, and there's no loot boxes or anything else with it, which is fine. They really want to get everything that I've seen. They really want to get that across. Is that hey, this is single player, and they're also using Unreal Engine for this, which is a departure because EA. I remember when. And this goes back, well, I guess I have it from the Anthem article from Kotaku, but also from Amy Hennig, who said that EA wants everybody using the Frostbite engine. Yeah. Frostbite's very hard to use when you want to use not first person, but if you want to use third person playing mechanics. Yeah. It doesn't work as well. It's primarily for first person shooters. But here's Respawn using Unreal Engine. And I don't know how they got around that. I don't know how they were able to do that. But I don't know. There's a tiny bit of bitterness I have for the fact that she and her project got completely wiped, and then Respawn comes in and does their thing, and I don't know. I don't.
Maybe someone forced the issue.
We'll see. I'm not asking for a bad Star Wars game because Amy's not working on it. No, not at all.
I'm just thinking on the lines of, look, this is a Star Wars title. This is going to be major, and the way it's going to work is if we have this engine. We can't do it with this. If we can't do it with Frostbite, we have to have this one. So if you want this thing to, you think you want this game to fall flat into space, go ahead and force us to use Frostbite.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for them because this seems to indicate that there's no Battlefront for this year. No Battlefront 3. And it also releases in November, and then you've got, the next Star Wars film releasing in December. So good little tie-ins there for it as well. I think Disney Plus launches in November also, which is the Disney streaming app.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that has really any tie into the game, but all the Star Wars movies are going to be available on there. So again, this is extra promotion for something. This is going to put people in that frame of mind to want to play a Star Wars game. So this is good for them. I think it'll do well, but again, without having to see any sort of gameplay whatsoever, I can't say one way or another that this is this looks great.
Yeah, can't get hyped without the.
I can't. But that's the difference between me and Matt. Matt can watch this trailer and he will get excited. And I won't say that it's simply because it's got Star Wars in front of it. He'll see things that I don't notice.
I can.
You know? Huh?
I can.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I don't like to simplify it to that. Because I think he'll look at this and he'll see the designs of the stormtroopers or the designs of the outfits of somebody else. Mm-hmm. And he'll look at that and he'll know exactly who they are or at least where they belong in some timeline or some sort of faction, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. This trailer, when he watches it, is going to say more to him than it's going to say to me because of how much of a fan he is.
Yeah.
So that's why I really want to talk to him about it and say, did you see anything in there that hyped you up? Take out the fact that we're getting a single-player Star Wars game that we haven't had in forever, with the exception, I guess, of that single-player aspect of Battlefront 2 that they put in there. Tell me why this excites you without just saying that, well, it's a new Star Wars game. Give me more than that, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think he can do that. But I agree in the same sense that I'm excited for, you know, I guess something that shows Burnout. I can still look at it and I can tell you, the trailer for Dangerous Driving, which was a Burnout successor. Mm-hmm. or a spiritual successor. I can look at that trailer and I can tell you a lot more about it than somebody who just knows Burnout for what it did. I can tell you that the UI looks exact. I can tell you the font looks the same when I watch that trailer. The font for the for everything in the game is the exact same as it was for Burnout 3 Takedown.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can look at that, and he can do the same thing with something like a Star Wars trailer for a video game. So anyway, that was just announced, and that's really all we have to tell you about it. They had a panel for it. I don't know if anything else was revealed in that panel. I haven't really seen anything or looked it up because it happened just before we came to air a few hours before, so I just haven't seen it. Other than that, I can't really think of anything that was like really major that happened this week. As far as gaming, it seemed to be a slow sort of week of things happening that we haven't already covered before. Yeah. So, with that being said, we're just going to make the show an hour this week. We're just going to cut out early. No, we're not. But you know, we already hit the Dragon Age 4 stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We already talked about what was that? What else did we have there? I had something else. I don't want to bring up the Epic Games Store anymore. I really don't. We've done it. I don't want to bring it up anymore.
Unless they get another exclusive.
Well, they haven't yet, but you know they're gonna. They got that Fortnite money, man. Yeah, they're going to keep snagging exclusives.
That Fortnite money talks.
Well, and it's going to continue to be, it's going to continue to not necessarily wage a war, and I don't even know that it's dividing the player base. There's a lot of people who go on the internet and say, well, I ain't doing this, and then turn around and they do it. Yeah. You know, everybody's got that breaking point of, well, I was good being a Steam defender, but now they've got my game that I want. And so I'm going to have to go there. So I don't know, but
look, some folks like we said last time, some folks feel the way you do. It doesn't matter if they get another launcher on there. Some folks just have an issue with. Some folks have an issue with Epic. Don't want theirs. You know,
there was another long Kotaku article talking about why so much hate for the Epic Games Store, and they went down the different reasons that a lot of people were giving it. You know, oh, it's another store, and there's like, okay, that's fine, but there's also other stores. It's gathering information on your computer and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And the guys at Epic said, well, we don't gather any more than anybody else does. Mm-hmm. Steam gathers this information. And then they talk about the Chinese stuff with the Tencent.
Yeah. They're partnered with Tencent, yeah.
And the article says, well, okay, Epic does do that, but they have also said that Tencent is... one of the investors in this. There are other investors into the project. Mm-hmm. And Discord is backed by Tencent, and a couple of other things that people use that are backed by Tencent, but nobody giving a stink about it, you know?
Yeah.
The only valid thing I can think of is I keep hearing about the Epic Game Store, the functionality of it compared to other stores.
No, the article does say that. It feels like you're walking into a storefront wasteland apocalypse type thing. Like, it's very
bare bones, I think.
Yeah, it's a very minimalistic, bare bones.
Yeah.
It hasn't evolved from that yet.
Yeah,
and that's just an aesthetic thing, cosmetic thing. It'll come. It'll evolve just like the Steam Store did as well.
Your hope is
Steam
that
Store
it
looked a
improves,
lot different when it launched than what it looks like now. So there's that as well. I think it mainly boiled down to the exclusives. People were not happy with the exclusives, and they were not happy about that because they were having to leave Steam and get another launcher, and people just didn't want to do that. Some of the comments that it boiled down to in that thing was somebody made a comment. It was a nice, long, drawn-out thing, but the response to it was, tell us why you think that, tell us exactly what you think is wrong with what they're doing. Because he had made some examples, or the person who made the comment had made some sort of generalization of bad things will happen. And they're like, what precisely bad things are we talking about? And every single one that was brought up was countered with something else through people making a comment. So you had your defenders, but you didn't have defenders who were just blindly defensive of it. It feels like the people who are defending Steam are the actual blindly defending it, actually. I'm not realizing, when we talked to Rand last week about, he was very, very open to the fact that if Epic came to him and said, we'll give you this much money and it's going to be on our store first, he would have no problem taking that handout.
Yeah.
And
you can see where he's coming from on that.
And that was the main argument, was that why don't you want to, everybody's complaining about this, why don't you want to give money to developers? And the comeback was that if they're indie, we have no problem with it. But if they're a big AAA like Borderlands that is getting released on Epic first, Borderlands, giving that money to Gearbox, sure, why not? But it's not going to Gearbox. It's going to their publisher, 2K. 2K does not need that. 2K is not going to take that and put it back into Gearbox. They're going to take that and put that into their CEOs and somebody else. It's not going to go back into what it should go back into, Whereas Gearbox was self-publishing, they would be the ones to get that money, so that they could put it back into whatever they need to make another game or to do updates or something like that. So that I can see when your big game companies take the exclusive offers. I think they're taking them for the wrong reason. I don't put it on Epic because they offered it, though. You should put it on the other person for taking it.
Yeah.
And so take it on a case-by-case basis. Don't take it on Epic gobbling these people up. They made an offer. The other people said yes to it. That's the thing. It's like in a relationship when your significant other is cheating on you and you get mad at the person they were cheating with. Well, no, your anger should also go towards the other person. Or I say anger, but at least you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There should be some situation there where you should be mad at the person who said yes to that offer.
Yes. It takes two to tango in just about any situation.
In a business,
but one party tends to get all of the repercussions.
Yeah.
And so Gearbox didn't sign the deal saying that we put Borderlands 3 on your thing for 6 months exclusively. 2K signed that, not Gearbox. They had no hand in that. Did 2K come to Gearbox and say, hey, we're going to do this? You feel good about this? Of course they didn't. They're the publisher. They took it, and that's all that mattered. So when you've got an indie company, though, that comes along, like Three Fields Entertainment for Dangerous Driving, for their exclusive on Epic, they took it specifically because they're a team of 7 and they're self-publishing their own games, and they need the money. They need the guarantee of the money, and that's why they took it. So, what was that?
Sorry.
Oh.
My screen came on all of a sudden.
I thought I heard my voice, and then again I wasn't
You
sure.
did.
I thought somebody was outside.
Yeah.
So, there's that, and I'm trying to think, Metro. Who was the publisher on Metro?
Do not know.
Can anybody look that up for me
That'd
real
be
quick? Metro, was it Metro Exodus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Metro Exodus. Let me see here. Developers 4A Games. The publishers are Deep Silver.
Deep Silver and Coke Media.
Yeah. One of those is probably consoles. One of those is probably PC.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find out who did what. Yeah, I know it's Deep Silver. Publisher, writer, composer, platforms. Publishers, it just says Deep Silver. So, yeah. I would say I don't know much about Deep Silver. They're not a company like 2K. So,
Deep Silver is Coke Media's division for video game publishing.
okay, yeah. Who's Coke Media? That's my other question.
Let's see.
Because then I see this is where you go down the rabbit hole, right?
Let's see. German-Austrian media company headquartered in Hofen, Tyrol, Austria, with an operating subsidiary
Holy
based
cow.
in Planegg, Germany. The company was founded in '94 by Franz Koch and Clemens.
I've never heard of this
Kudraditz.
before. Huh. There's a big rabbit hole for them. But I also don't see anything outside of gaming where that's just it. You know, apparently their gaming is Deep Silver. They do the gaming aspect.
Deep Silver, Warhorse Studios, Volition,
Yeah.
and more.
Okay.
Yeah. And Coke Media's parent company was acquired by THQ Nordic in February of last year.
Well, I have no doubt that the developers for A is probably an indie sort of thing. They're probably a very small studio. Deep Silver is not so small.
Okay. I was looking at Volition. I was like, where did I see Volition before? And I thought, oh, yeah, that's Saints Row. Folks who did Saints Row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so I look at the indie side of that, and it's fine. I look at the AAA side of that, and I'm thinking, okay, now you're just greedy. That's what that feels like to me. Borderlands 3 was not going to have any problem selling.
No.
Not at all. So that sort of grab feels like a money thing, you know. But I don't place blame on Gearbox. I put that blame on 2K. They're the ones that did that. So anyway, that's my thought. There's our discussion on Epic Game Store, week number 4, for that. I was going to go into this whole thing about Bungie blocking some Xbox and PC players from a exclusive gun that somehow got through the cracks. Because it's a PS4 exclusive, but some people on Xbox and PC were able to get it this past week. Not only that, there's some more stuff to go into about what they did that again limits takes away fun from players. Put it that way. And we'll talk about that. Let's look and see who is hanging out in the chat room. We've got AC Wraith, Apricot Droop Fruit, which is fun. Biosk 1, Commander Root, Lethal Migraine, S1 Faka, Stephen Van Dam, Taxis 59, Ted, Teyyyd, Thar 66, Uliet, VNK, and Virgo Pros. So if I didn't hit your name, that's because it's not showing up in the list of users who are currently on with us watching the show. So in the chat room, at least, put it that way.
Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more of In-Game Chat right after this. Here is music from a game that has been out and has been talked about, and I completely am surprised I have not used any music from it whatsoever, but a game called A Hat in Time. And it's the main theme for that game. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Folks with the mics are on, and welcome back to In-Game Chats. I'm Scott, along with RJ and Sarah. Matt will be back next week. This is music from a game called The Eyes of Ara, or Ara. A-R-A is the name.
Ara.
The Eyes of Ara. It is the title theme. I don't know anything about the game, but somebody bought it. Because
played it.
Huh?
And played it.
Yeah.
Because it popped up on your window.
I went into my activity of my friends list and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, looking for games that I had not used music to, or that wasn't a narrative game. And by that I mean one of those... they seem to be mostly Japanese, but they seem to be just basically... They're not text adventures. They're just a story that plays out.
Visual novel?
Visual novel, maybe, yeah. But not a graphic novel, you know. So, anyway, something that had music into it is really all I was looking for, and that's what I found. So, oh God, where to go next? Because it just was not. Oh, Sekiro sold 2 million copies in 10 days. Apparently, that's an amazing feat, and I think it is.
Yep. I wonder how much was boosted by that. Make it easier article.
Yeah.
Because that tends to happen.
Yeah.
It's like people like, what's all the talk about? So hard we're demanding an easy mode. Well, gee, let me go find out for myself what all the fuss is about.
Yeah,
Things like that happen sometimes.
It was also the most viewed game on Twitch, with 630 million minutes watched during launch weekend.
Wow.
I promise you, it's because they wanted to see rage. They want to see how mad people got with that game.
It also saw 1.1 billion minutes watched on Twitch within the first week.
Yeah, I'm serious. That's what they were looking for.
Yeah, neat. All right, good for them. So yeah, during the reset on Tuesday for Destiny, a gun got through the cracks. It's a PS4 exclusive gun, but people were able to pick it up on Xbox and PC. And the way you could get it was going to Zur and getting his what is that thing? That engram that it costs like 97 shards to buy.
Legendary Ingram.
It's an exotic Ingram, and it drops.
Exotic, yeah.
It pulls from a pool of things.
Yeah.
But it always makes sure that it's not something you don't already have. So every time you get, depending, so like you can look at the pool.
I've seen that fail before.
Yeah, you can look at the pool of stuff that it has.
Yeah,
and you can hover your mouse hover your mouse over all of them, and it'll say you already have this, you already have this, you already have, whatever the case.
Yeah.
And then if one of them doesn't, then that's the one you're probably going to get. Well, a lot of people apparently did this, and they got this gun. And Bungie was very quick, rightfully so. I get this; they were very quick to shut that down.
Yeah.
I said, look, you can't use the gun. You're going to have it in your inventory, but you won't be able to equip it. When the exclusive contract is up, it's yours. If you already got it, we're not gonna do that to you.
Yeah,
but
just put it in storage for the time being.
Right, but you're just not going to be able to use it until the contract is over with, which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with that. Although some people on forums wrote clickbaity headlines and got a lot of people who don't understand the whole thing into an uproar about Bungie being, I guess they're no different than Activision. Blah, blah, blah. It was really horrible to read. However, there was also another incident that they took action on. With the what is this season called? Drifter, Season of the Drifter, whatever. It's the Gambit season.
Okay,
and they introduced something called Pinnacle Weapons.
Okay.
They had something called that was similar to this when Forsaken launched, but it was tied to you doing a list of certain things in Strikes or in Crucible or Out and About or whatever.
Yeah.
Long list of different things.
Yeah.
And it was done character by character. So the progress you were making on one character was not carrying you over to your other alternative characters that you had. However, the Pinnacle weapon changed all that. It tied it to a triumph. And the triumphs are locked to your account, not your character. So you can make progress with all of your characters to do this one thing.
Okay.
The best part about it is that if all three of these characters had picked up the bounty for these things, then when one character completed it, then all the other characters could go pick up the weapon as well.
Mm-hmm.
These weapons were masterworked all the way to level 10. They came masterworked.
Okay.
The first one that you pick up, whatever character you pick it up on, the one that achieves the triumph, has it drop at max level, 700. The others have it dropped at whatever level it would drop, but they're still masterworked.
Mm-hmm.
This is significant because you can break down masterworked weapons and get 7 enhancement cores.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to our whole situation of enhancement cores.
Yeah.
Being a finite resource used for helping you maintain a level or increase your level, but keeping these guns and armor that you enjoy.
Right.
But it's costly and expensive. So anyway, apparently there was a glitch where certain weapons you could just gather over and over and over again.
Okay.
So when you had reached a pinnacle, if you had not picked it up, you could go to whoever was offering that weapon and pull it, dismantle it, pull it again, dismantle it, pull it again, dismantle it. People were getting core after core after core after core after core.
Repeat. Yep.
Well, they wanted to stop that, and when they did a quick fix for it, but they also pulled it to where only one character per account can now get the pinnacle weapons. Whereas before, all 3 of your characters could go and get this gun if they had picked up the bounty for it. Now, even if all 3 have picked it up, only one character can claim it. And after that, you have to use the vault system or whatever to switch it between your characters.
Yeah.
The community was kind of upset. There were 2 reasons that the community was upset over this. Number one, that they patched it so fast that they can't understand why other things don't come fast patched. You know, when there's other problems. You know,
Yeah.
This is a problem that was giving advantage to the player, and they patched it very fast. There's other problems that are giving disadvantages to the player in just mechanics in general.
Yeah.
and
Right.
it takes them forever to patch it.
But this is a problem that was violating a contract they have with Sony.
Well, no. That's not the. No, I was talking about the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The pinnacle.
No, the pinnacle
pinnacle.
weapons. The pinnacle weapons that give you masterwork cores.
Gotcha.
They fixed that and shut that down, and they did that very fast.
So I think
Nobody's arguing about the. Nobody, I say, in the Destiny community is arguing about the gun thing.
Yeah.
They totally get the exclusivity aspect. People who are not in Destiny and read articles like these jump to a conclusion that Bungie's being annoying by not letting people have this gun that they bought.
Right.
And also, when they say bought, people think they spent real money on this. So again, they didn't.
Yeah.
You cannot buy legendary shards with real world money.
No.
So none of this was there was no real world money involved in that. Nobody's complaining on that. It's the pinnacle weapon aspect where they tried to fix one glitch, and in doing so, they limited to you even further than what was originally there. And it's all because of masterwork cores and the ability to infuse stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are complaining, like, just take that out. Just take it out. Take out masterwork cores altogether, or do something better about them. You know, have them cap. You know, have 20 a 20 limit on them. You know, and then you've got to go get more, but have them freely available, but have a cap on them if you're really that concerned. So, I don't know. It's
You mentioned how fast they got that patch out for that pinnacle glitch,
right?
And which is an indicator of like, where are your priorities really. I mean, we got significant problems here, but which we've told you about for months. But this glitch was out for how long?
Oh God, not even an hour.
An hour?
Not even an hour.
And you jumped on that quick.
They jumped on it very.
But the problems
fast.
we told you about months ago, you say you're working on it. So where are your priorities at?
Yeah, there was a lot of uproar about that, and so, I get that, and I'm not a. There was a talk earlier this week, and it had nothing to do with gaming. It just had to do with the aspects of our jobs here at the station, where somebody in one department of the station probably looks at your job and says, "Well, all you do is do this," where you do a lot more than that, or there's more to it than just all I do is this, right?
Yeah. Your job title is not an indicator of,
Right.
of all that you do.
Whereas
Right.
a job.
Whereas I probably look at their job and think, well, how hard is it for you to do that? Where they could probably give me a long list of, here's actually what goes into making this happen.
Yeah.
So I am not a game developer. I can't look at what they do and say, all you do is put a patch out. All you have to do is switch these numbers and lines of code. I can't, no, I'm not a developer. I can't say that. I have no idea what it takes. I sort of sit on that end where if you are that fast at fixing this, how come it's taking so long to get these other things done? Why does it take a month's time to get this one other thing through? And I don't exactly know why that is. I don't know. I'm not on the other side to say.
I'm sure some of it is what's connected to what. Like the Pinnacle weapons were fairly new,
Yeah.
so they could probably patch that faster than they can.
Now, I will say
Certain things.
what's the word? The optics of the situation look bad for
Yeah.
Bungie. The optics look bad. You're that fast to make something, to fix something that is fun for players. You're taking that away from them, and yet the other stuff that we have actual complaints about, it takes you forever to get to, if you get to them at all. I wish I could provide you some examples, but
I mean, they left the loot cave for a while.
they did, and they took that away.
They did eventually take it away.
Yeah. Why?
I'm sure at the end of the day, it's violating like how the game is supposed to be played, as far as they are concerned. And it's,
I would agree with you.
You
It
know,
was.
ultimately their game.
I agree with you that is something that it was, and they put a little tongue in cheek into it whenever you go to that cave section at that time. So I get what that was. It was, you guys are missing the entire aspect of the game by staying in this one area.
And they have given you little mini ones.
They have.
So it's like, if you want to feel this experience, here you go. It's
Yeah.
going to run for like 5 minutes.
But
All right, now go actually do something.
But still, at the same time, what this was doing wasn't something that was going to give these people an advantage in really any sort of way. Getting enhancement cores, it was giving them shards, enhancement cores, and glimmer, which glimmer has a cap, shards don't, and enhancement cores apparently don't, because people got around 1,000 of them.
Oh my gosh.
No, it was amazing.
And this glitch wasn't active for but a couple hours?
No, not
Wow.
even an hour, man. Like I said, it wasn't active even an hour, and people were like, boom, 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 just grabbing that stuff.
1,000 cores.
Yeah, no,
Which,
1,000.
I mean, is a pretty good argument for this was something that could break the game.
Yeah.
I guess it could.
Like, if nothing else, the economy of the game. Like,
But
why do you keep trying to get drops to break down?
Yeah, but enhancement cores don't affect the economy of the game
Well, but
because you only spend them to infuse weapons.
well, right. But how do
and
you
armor.
get them?
How do you get them? You get them through you don't buy them. You get them
Right.
through bounties.
Grind.
Right. But that's the thing, is if you can now avoid
Bounties that
all
randomly
the
drop,
activities,
by the way.
like they want you to go do things.
Yeah, I know.
If the only reason you're doing things is to get enhancement cores, then you're not really playing Destiny anymore. Are
The
you?
thing is, I don't farm enhancement cores. I don't. Yeah, I get them from random breakdowns of
Yeah.
weapons that happen to come in, and I had a lot of them because at one time they didn't care. One time, enhancement cores were masterwork cores, and you only use them to masterwork a weapon,
Yeah.
and so they actually dropped rather frequently. And so I currently sit on about 150 of them.
Yeah. I do not have very many because I wasn't playing while they were
Right,
masterwork
yeah.
cores. But
They served a different purpose in year one of Destiny 2.
yeah.
So
Yeah, as soon as I got enough, I used them to build up the weapons I had.
yeah. Moving on from that, I don't know that there's anything else. It's just really you can change your name on PlayStation Network now, which is something apparently you couldn't do before.
Yeah, but there were a few games that would affect you changing your name on, though.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I think some of the games were sport titles, especially.
Oh, would it
And
like
there was a
reset
few,
leaderboards?
Yeah, records and things like that. And then a few other games like that. It was like a small list, maybe about 6 to 7 games that were affected. But I remember two sport titles were in there. One of which I got, the Golf Club 2. Something will be affected if you change your name on there. Didn't know
Really?
what, but in particular.
That's
But I didn't have any inclination or desire to change my screen name. Heck, most folks just have another account.
Yeah, that's I don't like that. We did get apparently a confirmation that Yakuza Kiwami 2 is getting a PC release next month. Octopath Traveler, which was just a Switch-only game from Square, gets a PC release date as well. So that's coming to PC. So good on them for that. Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a dead week of hardly anything. And I go back to see if anything has happened in the time that we've been doing the show, and nothing. There's a lot of Star Wars talk because apparently Celebration is going on right now.
Yes, Star Wars Celebration is happening this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah. A friend of mine.
Was that a 3-day convention? 4-day?
Celebration, I think, is like...
It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right?
I think it, much like Dragon Con, it kind of technically kicks off Thursday. Like, I don't think there's anything official, but people are starting to show up.
Day 0? Yeah, day 0. That's when we want to get there, really.
Yeah.
We want to get there on Thursday. And then everybody had the same idea. And hence they got day 0 because everyone's there already doing all types of stuff anyway.
Yeah. But Celebration's interesting because it moves around.
Yeah, they don't just stick it in Atlanta all the time.
Yep.
They move it, which is fine.
Matt went when it was in California, I think.
And Orlando.
It was in Europe for a while, so.
Yep. They don't just keep it stateside. So.
Yeah, they try to make sure that all the fans have an opportunity.
It's interesting because I know we're deviating here, but I know whoever the guy is of Disney, the Bob Iger or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Bob Iger.
Yeah, he said that after episode 9 here, they're gonna cut back on the Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah, they said they're gonna have a hiatus or something.
Yeah, which makes me wonder. Like, Celebration has been great because they've always had, or at least lately, since the new films, they've always had trailers for the new films, and because you've always had a Star Wars film every single year, it seems like, right?
Yes, we've had one a year.
It was 7, then Rogue One, 8, then Solo, and now 9, and nothing. Is The Mandalorian? Is that a movie or is that a series?
It's a series now.
It's a series. Okay.
They had originally floated the concept of a Boba Fett movie, but
Solo didn't do too well.
Solo didn't do great. So yeah, The Mandalorian is going to series on Disney Plus.
I want to say is it because of the performance of those last few movies that he's decided to go to a hiatus? It's just the heat's too high.
They started talking about taking a break after Solo didn't do great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think they're going to pause on the interstitial movies,
but I
until
think
they
they're
can
also
sort of get a handle on it.
Pausing on the main canon films, I would guess.
Well, which I think makes a lot of sense. Like if you're
Right.
closing out the Skywalker saga, like where do you go? Do we pick up right after that?
Yeah.
Do we try to do more movies with whoever's still alive at the end?
I don't feel like I have any kind of obsessive compulsive disorder, but stopping a series on 9 really bugs me.
But it's trilogies.
I know, but I'm just like...
Would you feel better if it was 12?
Just go 10.
No. They're trilogies. You can't do that.
Give me an epilogue.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
You don't have to give me a trilogy. Just give me epilogue.
Nope.
Which one gets the production studio more money? 9 or 10 movies?
I don't know. If you keep it within the realm of what they've been doing with those and not do the one-off type series, I'm not exactly sure. That would be interesting to know. Like Rogue One did very well, but Solo did not do so good. And that's when they decided to say, okay, let's...
I've heard nothing positive about Solo.
They said, let's stop
I have
this.
definitely talked to people who had good feelings about Solo, but why would you make a movie about somebody who comes into his own in later life in a movie we've already seen? Like, he's not a likable character at the beginning of A New Hope.
Wasn't.
Like, he's interesting, but he's just out for number 1. Why would you make a movie where somebody ends there?
What was it? Charming rogue?
Yeah.
I think is what the term that best describes him in the beginning.
But, like, is he really that charming? Is he?
A charismatic criminal?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Something like that.
So it's like, why do I need a movie of him going from, like, whatever into that? Like, you're not ending on a, like, good person.
Yeah.
And that also had a lot of problems in making the film itself. That had there were a lot of issues in making, because it was being directed by, it wasn't the Russos. It was dang, it was somebody else. It was these two guys who were originally directing it, and then they left.
Yeah.
And then Ron Howard came in and had to take
Well,
over.
they got kicked off.
They got kicked off. Yeah.
Because they were not. They did not quite understand what kind of movie they were making.
Yeah.
They were trying to make something
Can
very
anybody come
different.
with a situation where a movie had kicked off directors and it got better?
I'm sure they exist.
Can anybody think of any right now?
I can't. Nothing off the top of my head.
Because
but I'm sure
all the
they
time I hear
exist.
about a director getting kicked off mid-production, it's always a disaster. It's always an indicator that the movie's going to be a disaster in the end.
I'm sure they exist. I just
Yeah.
can't think of any at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah, just to go back to the Star Wars stuff. Celebrations going on. We got Fallen Order, but I'm hoping that we'll get more from that. I'm hoping people in there got to see some gameplay and can at least describe it, or something other than just that trailer. But I don't know. I've got an article up here that may give some more insight into everything that's involved with the game, but I don't think it's going to give us anything that is new that we didn't already know about that. So anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more of in-game chat. I'll scour and see if I've got more stuff to talk about here, because it's just not been... And Lethal Migraine said we're about 7 weeks away from E3. So news is going to sort of die off as best they can keep it secret. Leaks of that sort can happen.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
And disasters can happen.
Yeah, that can happen as well. So it might be sparse for the next couple of weeks as far as game news, which tells me I should play more games so that I can talk about them. Here, and there's two games in the in our music stuff that we're playing here for bumpers that I'm actually interested in. First one is this one here called Halfway, and we're going to play the theme of that. And it's got a sister game that may play after this one. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you more about it coming up on In-Game Chat. Here's the theme for Halfway. We'll be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is it's a theme to a game called Tangle Deep. I don't know anything about it. Somebody bought it. Tangle Deep is what this is. Apparently, while we were all during the break discussing Star Wars, there was a nice conversation going on in the chat room that we're only just now getting to. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Really, the only thing I was going to read this on the Star Wars Fallen Order. There is no multiplayer. There is no microtransactions. It is single-player Jedi fantasy story game. As they explained, the goal was to tell a Jedi story and put a lightsaber in the player's hand. That simple yet powerful concept is what started it all, but developing a detailed canon story took a significant amount of time and collaboration. The character's name is Cal Kestis, played by Cameron Monaghan? Anyway. He's a young Padawan who survived Order 66, and now he's on the run during some very dark times when the Empire is at the height of its power. He must evade the Empire's Inquisitors, but he chooses to do so while secretly continuing his training with his lightsaber and Force powers. We begin our journey with Cal on the planet Baraka. After an incident that requires him to reveal his force-welding abilities, Cal is forced to pick up and make a run for it again. Oh boy, here is the generic describe the main character. He's street smart, wary, and has been through a lot. Oh, here's every cliche in the book.
How many characters could you apply that to?
Despite the tragedy he's experienced, Cal is still someone with a sense of optimism and a good heart. God, it's like I'm reading...
It's an anime protagonist.
Even though Cal...
/ YA novel.
Yeah. Even though Cal did feel a bit isolated during the trailer, he'll have some allies by his side throughout the story, including a droid named BD-1. The new droid BD-1 stands for Buddy Droid 1. That's essentially what he is to Cal, a buddy. They're best friends. BD-1 is a sidekick. They're equals on their journey. He's a Jedi. And they learn to lean on one another. BD-1 also provides a little light in a story that takes place during such dark times. Oh, God.
I'm having flashbacks of those My Buddy commercials back in the day.
Kids, sister. Another character to keep an eye out for is Second Sister. Second Sister. An elite Inquisitor trying to hunt Cal down. Second Sister is actually a nice nod to the collaboration happening between different Star Wars departments because that character has already been teed up in Marvel Comics Darth Vader number 19. She's also got a new kind of stormtrooper at her disposal.
Oh, Matt will be so excited.
Toy collectors and cosplayers. The Purge Trooper. With only so many Inquisitors to go around, these Purge Troopers are trained to deal with Jedi and the ones who are dispatched first to investigate, and then the Inquisitors are called in. A significant group of traditional Stormtroopers can pose a threat, but when it comes to the gameplay in Jedi Fallen Order, the developers wanted foes who could offer up meaty one-on-one fights, and so the Purge Troopers were born. And speaking of gameplay, the key here for Respawn was the importance of touch and feel. They're developing thoughtful combat. You have to size up your enemy and identify their weaknesses. They're working to ensure that the combat is easy to pick up so that anyone can get right into the game, but if you put the time in, you can master the techniques. Sure, we've all heard of this before until you're maxed out level and no one is giving you any sort of threat whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Assassin's Creed, it's like, we're changing the combat up, and I could still take on, 15, 50 different people and not have a problem with it.
One swipe, done.
Yeah. They did change, by the way, they did change that combat beginning with Origins. Mm-hmm. But everything before that leading up to it was all like, I'm an army of one, Didn't matter. Kind of like how I felt, I think, with Batman. Same way. But then again, I think Batman is considered an army of one type thing. Yeah. That's his whole shtick. Performance capture experience differed from, he said that the technology used to create Cal's more in-depth, capable of picking up subtle changes in emotion. We'll see about that. Shortly before the end of the panel, the host asked about his lightsaber. And the response was a cryptic, "How do you know that's his lightsaber?" The group wouldn't go much further into that, but they did tease that the lightsaber is tied to the story and that over the course of the game, it'll grow and evolve. They dubbed it a reflection of Cal. The game releases on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC on November 15th, 2019. Boy, Cal even looks like...
But generic?
Boy, man. Put some... I don't know.
Effort?
No. I mean, I don't necessarily want to be somebody like that, but Star Wars is galaxy spanning and everything else, and yet
Does he look like Anakin?
Here's
what's the guy's name again?
Here's 20-something white dude being Mr. Jedi. You know, what's the name of what?
What's the guy's name again?
Which one?
The
main character?
Yeah.
Cal Kestis, C-A-L and then K-E-S-T-I-S. I agree. Lightsabers do have meaning. They never did go into the lore on that.
I'm just getting an image search of the person.
But they've wiped a lot of that with the EU.
Did they when they did that? When they when they wiped the canon, they kind of got rid of a lot of that.
Yeah, like as of now, lightsaber meaning is just what actually showed up in a very limited amount of stuff, which is not like the meaning behind the colors and stuff is all white.
Is all gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask. There used to be a meaning behind the colors, right? But they just wiped it.
Yeah, no, there was.
At what point did they wiped it?
They wiped it when they did this. When Disney bought the franchise.
Yeah, they basically wiped everything out of the expanded universe. Only what was in, I think the films, and.
So I remember there was
only the films in Rogue, and I think Rogue not Rogue One. What's that Disney thing?
Like the Clone Troopers and stuff like that, the cartoons, and a very small number, I think, of the comics, maybe.
Because I was thinking there was a lot of people talking about when Samuel L. Jackson had his purple.
Yes,
thing,
he had a purple
people had an issue
lightsaber
with that for some reason.
But if you went and looked into story lore that was written outside of that but tied into it, you'd find out exactly why he has a purple lightsaber and why all that stuff. People would like the movies were the Bible to go from, and they would look at that and then create their own stories from everything that came from there. So while we saw all of this, what were other people doing at that time? Well, I'm going to write a story about that, about these other characters and what they were doing during this whole aspect.
Yes, Rebels, thank you.
Yeah, Star Wars Rebels. In between the films, I can write a little bit about that. And so there was this whole lore behind, and I'm not the person to be saying this, Matt would be. There's this whole lore behind the building of a lightsaber, what it takes to go into building that, to find the crystal that goes into your lightsaber, the color that it represents. There was a whole bunch of stuff that went into that lore-wise. Yeah. And it's fascinating and wonderful, but Disney wiped all that stuff.
Yeah.
They said we're sticking with the films, the 9 films, and also Star Wars Rebels, and maybe the clone stuff, that other animated series.
Yeah.
So, and none of that really...
Basically the visual media, all the books were wiped, the comics were wiped.
It really was.
So they reset the Bible.
Well.
So people again still putting a lot of trying to read too much into something that is probably not even there, which is not a problem to do. That's fine if they want to do that, but at the same time, you're giving too much credit to a bunch of people trying to make money rather than possibly entertain you or tell a story, worthy of what you might think it belongs to. So, Dangerous Driving came out this week, and I've heard mostly not great things, but the developers are fine with that. They during an interview or something, they looked at their Metacritic score, and they're sitting at like 70% on the Metacritic score, or 70 or whatever it is, whatever the grade is, but it's like a 70. And most people are, ooh, that's not a good score. But the guys at Three Fields say, we're a team of 7 and we got a 70. That's fantastic. They're completely bonkers over that score.
Yeah.
Because they know there's other companies who are much bigger and have a lot more money behind their games that make maybe that score or lower. So they're completely happy with a 70.
Yeah.
I've been looking for the game. I kind of want a physical copy because it comes with Danger Zone 2 on the copy. But I could probably go to like a Walmart and pick it up, but Best Buy doesn't have it. There's no Best Buy around that has it. It's weird. Yeah. But so I don't know. I haven't picked it up yet. I thought about picking it up this week because I wasn't playing Destiny.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's get into something else. I mean, not that I don't have already a bunch of something else, but, a Burnout game, let's do some of that. It's not there, so I didn't pick it up. And then I'm going to get back into Destiny next week for the
Easter.
Bunny Ghost.
For the Easter, yeah. She wants the Bunny Ghost.
I do.
What do you have to do to get that thing?
Who knows? We don't know yet.
Yeah. Presumably collect things, complete bounties.
Okay.
Usually
they are theoretically going to be doing the you'll get everything if you turn in enough stuff. They're not going to double you up,
Okay.
which was a major problem I had with some of the earlier ones.
During seasonal events, you would get, every time you would level up, you would get in regular gameplay, every time you would level up, you'd get an Eververse engram, which would give you cosmetic stuff. But during seasonal events, every time you level up, you get an Eververse engram, but then you get an engram that's attached to that season. And so the Eververse engram would give you regular cosmetics, but the other thing would give you whatever's tied to that seasonal event. Ornaments for your weapon, skins for your ghost, ghosts that are only there for the thing. So yeah, a bunch of that stuff is likely what you're going to get.
My current ghost is from the Halloween event. Festival of the Lost.
Mine is, I have a Festival of the Lost because it's the eyeball. Yeah. That one, and then I got one from the winter event, which is the snowball with the twig reindeer antlers. Both of those are fantastic because both of those give me a 10% XP boost in all activities.
And this is the difference between how Scott and I play Destiny. It looks like a kitty. That's really all I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've finally had to give up the robes that I have dragged with me since I started Destiny 2 because they don't have any ammo finding benefits.
Okay.
And I can't afford to keep them anymore. And it hurts me
Yeah,
deep
I'm
inside
sorry.
because they're my pretty princess robes.
I'm so sorry.
And the last thing I checked with my mom was it's the Wildwood belt on my Titan. And it used to have a camouflage sash attached to it. And for some reason, last time I was on Destiny, the sash has disappeared.
I've had a lot of problems with parts of my outfit glitching out.
Yeah.
It seems to be temporary.
Without the sash there, my Titan just looks wrong. It just looks wrong now. So I don't know what the deal was with that outfit.
Yeah, it may have just been a temporary glitch because I've had the skirts of my robes disappear.
Yeah.
Which is very weird looking at a warlock with just pants.
Yeah. I'll have to check that up when I get back, load the game up after months and see if it's still there.
It probably is. There's really very little that they take away from that game. Now I'm looking at forum posts to see if there's anything in there worth talking about.
How about stuff you're looking forward to coming out in the next few weeks?
A Link to the Past was released 27 years ago today in the States.
Wow.
27 years ago, on April 13th, 1992, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past was released in the United States. In 24 years... this is somebody else. 24 years after my parents got me a SNES bundled with the game back in 95, I'm still playing it and still have the same cart on the same system. And I think we're getting an update on that? Or isn't A Link to the Past getting something done with on the Switch? Was it Link to the Past or was it Link's Awakening? It may have been Link's Awakening that is getting something done with that. So, I'm not sure. Again, kind of just scouring for stuff here because there really is nothing. What am I going to be playing next week? I already said it's going to be Destiny. I really should be playing Spider-Man. I really should be playing God of War. I really should be playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I really should be playing Detroit. I really should be playing Red Dead because I haven't. Then again, I look again. So when I go through looking for music, I look at people's activities and what they're playing. And there's a lot of games that come up that I'm like, ooh, that looks really cool. The game that we go out on here is a game called Pathway. And it looks like a really fun game that I would enjoy. So there's that. I kind of want to get back into City Skylines again. That was a time killer, but man, was it fun to do. Mm-hmm. So I want to play Dangerous Driving. I need to cancel my Game Pass subscription. I got it to play Crackdown 3, and it was 2 months for $2, and I didn't do a thing with it.
Yeah.
So,
in my case, I got to go through the backlog as well. Detroit and Horizon Zero Dawn. We were talking about that when it was $20. I picked it up, and I ain't even started or installed or anything with it yet. I got to look forward to Mortal Kombat 11. That's coming out on the 23rd, but won't be after next week's show.
No. What about you, Sarah? Anything that you're looking at playing here coming up?
I am not really looking at any of the new releases.
Mm-hmm.
I am apparently feeling nostalgic right now, so
That's why you're
I will
playing
be
Mass Effect 2.
Finishing up Mass Effect 2 and then rolling straight into 3. And then, as I told you guys on a break, I am going to try to start doing some streaming with Dark Souls 3 so everybody can see how bad I am at it. It should be entertaining.
Keep your shield up.
Apparently there's, it was leaked.
Hey, you playing on PS4 or PC?
I am actually playing on Xbox.
Okay.
There was a leak for that discless Xbox One S, the completely digital version of the box. It's got a 1 terabyte hard drive. It will do 4K and HDR, stuff like that. May 7th is the release date on it, and it looks like it's going to cost around $200. I'm sorry. Wait, no, $250. So it's $229. It looks like euros, and it'll be $259 US dollars for that. $250. $250 or $260? That's weird. It's probably $250. $250 for that machine. All digital Xbox One S. I don't know. Yeah.
So don't see much of a library that would interest me in picking up one. Like I said, there's a very few exclusives on the Xbox One that I would be that I would like to play, but not enough to me merit buying a new system.
Yeah.
There's no redesign on the console. Somebody says the design is really whack. If you got yourself some white tape and put over your 1S disk drive, you have a digital system right there, basically. That's interesting. Okay. Because the base Xbox One S with the disk drive is like $300, but normally you can find that for about $250 to $200.
Yeah.
And here's something that's going to release that has no disk drive for $250 thereabouts. So interesting.
So what's the point?
I know. I don't know.
Well, it performs better than the one that's on the market now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, of course. I was saying that if you were playing on PS4, I'd have dropped a summon sign in a heartbeat to help you out if need be.
Yeah, so I'm on Xbox because that's where the friend who convinced me to do this experiment is playing. So
Yeah.
So that's where you're going to be doing this, is on your Xbox?
on my
Yeah.
Xbox.
So
I don't think they have good Twitch integration.
It's
It's there.
Okay.
They want you to use their mixer thing.
yeah.
Which is fine too. But
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I'm about to say, just was saying, keep your shield up. Look out for fake messages, especially the ones that say
Jump off of something?
shortcut ahead, and it's nothing but a cliff with nothing on the overside. Yeah, that's not something you want to. That's not something you want to trust.
Yeah.
And peek around every corner because there are some ambushes.
Okay,
throughout
good. So this game is going to play into my already existing paranoia about everything. Cool.
And do you have any big pillows that you can throw controllers into without breaking anything?
Yes, I play in the corner of a couch, so I fling
Okay.
I fling to the left into the other corner.
Yeah.
I have been known to tag a cat doing that.
Oh, no.
But that'll just be exciting.
Yeah, get the pillows off the bed, put them next to you so you can throw it in there or whatever, so you won't break anything in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. And let me know when it comes on because I want to see that.
Yes, I will. I will make sure everybody knows. It'll probably be a couple of weeks because I've got to get my bunny ghost first.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap things up here. I've got nothing else. Now I'm just reading comments about the Jedi, what's it called? Jedi Fallen Order thing.
I watched Shazam.
I saw that last week. Was it last week that I saw that? I think it was.
Did it come out on the 4th?
I think, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
The 4th or the 5th? Yeah. Those
Yeah.
came out? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was fun.
I did. I enjoyed that very, very much. Melee action game. Combat is key. Personal note, the rumors of it being similar to Dark Souls might have some merit. This is for the... No way it's got some merit. Especially with that one comment that says people can pick up and play the game. No. If it's similar to Dark Souls... I'm talking about the Jedi, the Fallen Order game.
Similar to Dark Souls.
Yeah, being similar to might have some merit. Clone Wars writer. Appears to be open world. Some cosmetic customization based on pre-order bonuses. Stormtroopers will apparently die in one hit. Tougher enemies will be strategically difficult, and they won't just have higher health or damage. Inquisitors will be a common enemy. Metroidvania-esque aspect of returning to older levels with new abilities to access new areas. There are some puzzle-solving elements. The lightsaber you use belong to a significant character, and your droid partner can use abilities. So
Interesting.
There you go. All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat room, as well as everybody listening on the stream and on the radio as well. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or wherever you get our show for later use. We do appreciate it. Go to ingamechat.net. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Twitch. Join our Steam group. Join our Discord. We've talked all about that. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next Saturday. Matt will be back. Sarah, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
We'll have Sarah back here pretty soon as well. Music now from Pathway. It is the main theme to the game, and you guys have a great week. Those of you local, please be careful with the weather overnight and into tomorrow. It's going to be pretty bad. So if you're still listening to the station, that sort of thing, we'll have Rich is going to be going wall to wall, beginning early morning. For coverage on this thing. So we're going to do our best to keep you safe. We'll be back next week. Have a great one.